Welcome to Secure the Bag Championship Weekend. It's your boy A-Dub.
Anyway, Strizzy back at the building. What's going on, everybody? All our slackers
Oh
out there.
man, ready for me personally. I'm ready for another great weekend of NFL. I know that these games are really looking good, the matchups, but it's going to be hard to live up to last weekend. Let's just be real.
Yeah, I don't think we can live up to last weekend.
Yeah, all four games ending on the last play of regulation. All four games just really close, and that was great. But we're looking forward to maybe some more classics this weekend. And obviously, it's this is what we wait for all year to figure out who's going to be in the Super Bowl. So let's try to find out together. We're going to try to see if we can secure a couple more bags before we wrap it up for the year. Let's get straight to it. We always talk real quick about our line. An example of what this means. So the line is what the team must win by to win your wager. The total is how many points will be scored by both teams collectively. You get to pick the over, the under. And then the money line is just a straight bet. So no points, but you're just betting on who's going to win. And that plus 140 references, how much money you'll win on a $100 bet, or the negative 160 is how much you have to bet to win $100. So that's kind of how that works. And as a reminder, as always, this is not actual betting advice. So yeah, we talked about the epic weekend that was last week. Let's go ahead and give a rundown of our picks and kind of a recap real quick. So we had, first off, the Bengals visiting the Titans. The Bengals did cover as the underdogs. Strizzy and I both leaned towards the Titans at the last minute. And the Bengals did prove us wrong, but a great game overall. I just want to say, what were your thoughts leaving this game regarding both teams moving forward real quick?
I think the Titans are on a decline. You know what I mean? I think they had a really favorable schedule when Derrick Henry went down. You know what I mean? So I think that had to do a lot with them still getting the overall best record in the AFC. So I think they're actually kind of on a little bit of a decline right now.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine Derrick Henry's body holding up the way it's been holding up with all the punishment that he takes. And I think the Bengals are on the opposite. They're on the, they're on the up and up. You know what I mean? I look forward to seeing what Burrow and Chase are going to do over these next couple of years, man. Right now, they look like they're the truth for real.
Yep. No, absolutely. I agree with you. We're going to find out really soon if it's if they're a little bit too ahead of schedule, you know what I'm saying? Or their time might be sooner than we think. So moving on to the next game, we had the San Francisco 49ers visiting Green Bay. Another walk-off win at the very end. Green Bay unable to cover. We split on this one, so I was able to hit this one. You were leaning towards Green Bay. So thoughts on Green Bay's future? Is this it for Aaron Rodgers as a Packer?
It's one of those things where it shouldn't be, but I hope so. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be because you know nothing but success basically with this team. You know what I mean? And
they won 13 games the last 3 years.
Right. And as much as he complains about, I need more help, it's like, you know what I mean? You've been successful. You've been an MVP candidate almost every year. Devontae Adams has been one of the best receivers over the last 4 years. You know what I mean? I don't see how much they complain about, but because of all the complaining, that's why I think it should be over. You know what I mean? That's why I think it should be a wrap.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And it's funny, to me, even if Aaron Rodgers was like, yeah, I want to come back, I kind of disagree with the Green Bay's position of they all want him back because in a sense, he's been holding them captive for the past couple of years. They just need to move on. They keep trying to placate and be like, whatever you want. But obviously it's one of the, he just feels like the grass is greener somewhere else. Let him go. Let find out. It's too toxic. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. That's funny. Real quick, they're so scared to do anything. You know what I mean? We don't know who to draft. We were afraid to make this man upset or make him angry. They don't know what to do. Let this man go so you can continue to be an organization.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Real quick, do want to welcome Unk to the show, dropping in the comments. What's up, Unk? Appreciate you jumping on in this afternoon. Hope you are doing well. But yeah, let's wrap up the rest of these games real quick. But no, good insight on that one. This one, the Rams and the Buccaneers. So we both had the Rams on this one. We both felt like they were going to come through as the underdogs here, and they definitely made it happen. Almost blew it. This is kind of a troubling trend with the Rams of giving up leads late. This time they were able to make it work. They were able to hold on. Actually, no, they didn't hold on. They tied it, but then they made their own game-winning drive. So,
yeah.
But another outcome of this game is a question about the quarterback. On the other side, Tom Brady. Is that the last time we saw Tom Brady play? Is Tom Brady's career over?
I hope so. I think I'm ready to see basically a lot of these guys retire. We'll talk about Ben retiring as well, but man, I'm super excited for a lot of these guys, man. The crazy part about it, man, they're all in the AFC. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like the AFC is going to be wild for the next couple of years.
The young gun
But
quarterbacks, yeah.
I mean, 10 Super Bowls, man. Seven of 10 Super Bowls won. He's only lost 3 times. Like that's. I feel like in some sports, there's some sports you can argue who like the GOAT is, who the best player ever. I don't think there's an argument here. I think it's Tom Brady. I don't. You know what I mean? I don't think you could say, oh no, like I feel like Tom Brady is the best player the NFL has ever had. Like he's insane, man. So call it a career, man. Spend some time with your family, bro. You're 40, 44, going on 45 or whatever. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
you did
exactly.
it. You
And
won.
I think so. I'm with you. Like, there's nothing more for you to prove. He's been that competitor. I just feel like he's going to have the itch to want to play again, but
Of
he
course.
has plenty of off field things, to keep him busy. He's got his family and this and that. And Unk makes a great point. He said Brady actually may be listening to his family about retirement, and he did
Yeah.
say like it's not only what I want, it's what my family wants, and that plays into it. The other thing too is he did get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in that game. I know this is something super silly, but basically that's the only thing in his career as a player that he had not done.
Yeah. Right.
That was his first ever, and I think that'd be kind of gangster if that was his first ever in his last game. He's like, all right, I checked that box. Like I literally have nothing left to do. Let's go ahead and walk away. So we'll see. I just think that it might be some of that like that talk right now, but in September, come August, September, he's gonna be like, man, I want to be playing again. So
run it back, yeah. And I said the same thing with Gronk. Gronk said if you ask me right now, or I make a decision right now, he's like, I'd retire again too. So Gronk might not even be coming back next year. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. The next game and last game, possibly the best game of last weekend, was the Chiefs and the Bills. The Chiefs, as a slight favorite, came through. This is another one that we split on. So it brought our totals to 3-1 this weekend. After the hot weekend, the first weekend of the playoffs, you kind of came back and gave me a shot to get back in the game here. So I do appreciate that, Strizzy. But I know we'll talk about the Chiefs. I know it was a crazy ending, but I want to hear, as like a pseudo Bills fan from you, what's next for the Bills? What do they do now? They've pretty much been one of the best teams in the NFL. Your thoughts on their offseason and where to go from here?
I think they just continue to build on what they've already done. In my opinion, they're the second best team in the NFL, not just the AFC, but the NFL, right behind Kansas City Chiefs, man. And they're the one team that was built to beat them. And honestly, they probably should have beat them. You know what I mean? Yeah, even with 3 timeouts, there's not a lot of quarterbacks who can come back with 13 seconds to get a game-winning drive.
Plays some defense too. Yeah,
exactly. So they might build up on some defense a little bit, strengthen up that secondary. But I mean, they're still built right now to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs, man. And maybe they get another receiver aside from Diggs. Beasley's he's a good slot receiver, but you might be looking to get something a little bit more, maybe a little bit more strong, a little stronger. Shifter, maybe someone a little bit younger too, and then someone who's a little bit younger than Emmanuel Sanders. You know what I'm saying? So they could definitely fill some holes. But I feel that they run it back to me. You know what I mean? I feel like they keep their guys, pay who they need to, and continue to compete and try to get better to play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that there's not much that they really can do, some little tweaks here and there, but might be one of those situations where they're mirroring the Bills of the early 90s, where it's like you can be a really good team, but you might only get so far.
Right.
So I know Bills fans don't really want to hear that. I know that they're probably pretty pleased with the success that they had. Sour ending, but it is tough. Where do you go from there? You keep losing, keep hitting that same wall. So, all right, let's wrap that up. Let's wrap up that last weekend real quick. I wanted to get to a comment that Unk said. He said Aaron Rodgers better keep his butt in Green Bay and get that money. And they're offering it. They're putting it out there for him. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's Unk's opinion on the Aaron Rodgers situation. So let's move on.
And that team, you're not wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.
And you're comfortable there. That's a place he's played his whole career. So I don't know. Okay, let's move on to championship weekend, though. We got 2 games to decide who will ultimately win the AFC and the NFC and who will, compete in the Super Bowl. First game up is the Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites in this game. The line is actually moving down. It started above a touchdown, but right now it's sitting at a touchdown. and the over/under is 54.5. Strizzy, tell me who you got on this game.
Man, I got Kansas City in this game. I think Bengals were a little lucky, kind of like you said, last possession of the game to get away from the Titans last week. But I think Titans' inability to score on offense is what really kind of saved the Bengals. Their defense played lights out. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times and still still barely came away with a win. And the Bengals beat Kansas City earlier in the season by a field goal. And Mahomes said himself, he was like, "We'll see you guys again in the playoffs." Didn't think it was going to be the AFC Championship game, but here we are.
Right.
I think Kansas City, Mahomes especially, has a little something for him. So I think they actually cover the spread. Even though it's a big one, I think they cover it.
Got you, yeah. Anthony Weston, I want to welcome to the show. Tuning in just in time. You know where he's lying. He's with the Chiefs for sure. That's where his heart is, and that's where his mind is. Unk also says since Kansas City, although he'd like to see Cincinnati make it, it would be crazy to see them in the Super Bowl. Honestly, I'm actually going with the Bengals here, but again, I want to clarify this is against the spread. I think Kansas City will win the game, but I see this as like a 4-point game. I feel like Kansas City will probably fire off early, and the Bengals might make it close. I just don't see Chase and Burrow like going down too bad.
Right.
So if this was like 6, or if this was like 4.5, I might even take Kansas City, but the 7 is just a little bit too much for me. I feel like the Bengals will be within a touchdown, but Kansas City will win this game outright, no doubt. They did play each other, in week 17, and the Bengals were at home. They did get that W, but I do think it's different now. I do think that Kansas City is kind of on a mission here, and they have that pedigree. The Bengals definitely on the rise, but I feel like it's a little bit too soon for them to get to the Super Bowl. We'll find out, but I'm expecting a good game, probably going over that 54.5.
If there's anything about both these offenses,
So, all right. Let's move on to the afternoon game. We have the San Francisco 49ers visiting a familiar foe in the Los Angeles Rams. 46.5 points is the over/under, and the Rams are favored by 3.5. The Rams have a chance to do something pretty cool here. They're hosting the NFC Championship game, and then if they were to win and go to the Super Bowl is at SoFi, which is their home stadium as well. So they could essentially have like 2 home games in a row to kind of finish off the playoffs. This team, that they're facing, the San Francisco 49ers, have had their number. They're 0-6 against the 49ers in recent history. And, although it's been a lot of 1 point, or very close games, 1 possession games, the San Francisco's kind of had their number. So, Strizzy, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, man, I chose the Rams in this one, but primarily because I think they're gonna win. It's really hard for me to believe that McVay's going to lose for a 7th time to this guy. You know what I mean? To one of his greatest friends, Kyle Shanahan. You know what I'm saying? Like really good friends. And I think the Rams are on a mission, man. You know what I mean? They let the I don't think the Bucs really came back last week so much as the Rams fumbled 5 times,
right?
4 times, and a 5th time on that final drive. Even though
they held it, they kept it.
You know what I mean? So 4 fumbles, man, to lose all that. That's kind of crazy. So they can't do that again. Can't put the ball on the floor. Like I said, I think the Rams are on a mission. McVay literally has put everything he could in this team from grabbing
Stafford,
OBJ, going back out to get Weddle to play safety as a veteran guy. You know what I mean? Like he's locked and dialed in and wants to do everything he can to win a championship. And but San Francisco is not going to go away easy. I hate that the fact it's 3.5. But I'm still taking them. I think they win by like 6. I think it's like more of a touchdown.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going with the Rams as well. I feel like it is their time to beat this team, but I'm not counting the 49ers out completely. I think it is going to be scrappy, and I think the stakes are risen, but these are 2 teams that play each other every year, so they're going to know each other. It's really going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. So hopefully the Rams got all that out of their system with the turnovers in the regular season and then last weekend to kind of blow the lead. This is a tight one, though. I would have preferred a smaller spread, but I just think the Rams are going to find a way. I feel like this is their kind of time, and I think it's going to be a rematch, basically, of a couple years. Or sorry, not a rematch, but It's going to be Kansas City and then the Rams getting back. So
Yeah.
Unk's got San Francisco in a very close game. I could see that too, and that would make it, a rematch with the Chiefs and the 49ers if they win. Anthony Weston, he's got the Rams 27, 49ers 24. So he's leaning 49ers against the spread, but a really close game all over. So good stuff there. I'm excited for championship weekend. There's no doubt. I don't know which game I'm really more excited for, though. I'm going to have to be watching both of them. So I'm going to be parked in front of my TV. I'm going to try to get my walking done early so I can just be parked in front of the TV all Saturday afternoon into the evening for sure. So some interesting storylines to see. But I'm expecting Chiefs Rams for the big one. So, and Unc was saying, where's the Super Bowl this year? It's actually in LA at SoFi Stadium. So where in that new stadium where the Rams play. So it should be pretty gangster. I know that they're going to be pulling out a lot of stops for the Super Bowl. The halftime show looks a little bit more urban than it has in past years. So it should be pretty cool. Should be pretty cool on that. So that's it. I think, Anthony Weston, sorry, he chimed in on the Chiefs Bengals score. He says Chiefs 42, Bengals 24. So he says that Kansas City's not playing.
He said blowout.
Dang. And, I don't know. I could see it, especially if Kansas City doesn't mess around early. Off that big win last week, I think they know what they need to do. So it should be a good one. Yeah. All right. That's going to close out our predictions for this weekend's games. We do want to touch on the coaching carousel real quick. There has been some news on that front. And we're going to kind of just put this up there and talk about it for a few minutes. But this is something we'll talk about more on our Tuesday show. And then also probably next week and stuff as some more of these hires get made. So that's what's up. Anthony Weston, though, real quick, he says, what are the chances the Chiefs are in the 2 Super Bowl teams? Oh, I got you. The Chiefs are in the 2 Super Bowls where the teams are hosting, because last year they went to the Bucks and the Bucks were hosting. And then this year, potentially they could play the Rams in the Rams stadium. So that would be kind of weird. That is a different element too. It's one of those things too where we always said that'll never happen, a team winning a Super Bowl in their home stadium. And now who knows, it could happen 2 times in a row as far as getting there at least and having that Super Bowl in their home stadium. So pretty cool. Also, Grace is tuning in. She says, hello, guys. People want to say hi. What's up, Grace? Appreciate you checking in. The Sofa King. So, all right, let's get into this coaching carousel. And I just want to kind of touch on this real quick. And then any thoughts you have on any of these, just kind of throw it out there. But I'm just going to give a little stat on each one. And there's actually so many teams. Every year this happens, but this year it feels like there's a lot of movement. So let's jump onto this. First, we got the Raiders. Of course, John Gruden out during the middle of the year. Rich Bisaccia taking over as the interim coach. He might have a chance to stay there, but also apparently they're wanting to talk to Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator for New England. He's tried this before, but maybe now he's learned more. So that's the Raiders situation. But I don't know. What do you think about the Raiders situation? Is that a place you want to be?
Yeah, I think so. I think the team has gotten really close to come together after the firing of Gruden and everything else that happened with some of the players last year. So it probably not a place I necessarily want to be. You know what I mean? But it might be a good spot, especially depending on which coach they get.
Yeah, I definitely think they got to get the fans back on their side a little bit too. Vegas fans are really loyal when they're liking their team, but I think that some of the off the field issues they didn't really like. So we'll see what happens there. But I still think it's a big franchise. Just sucks going in the same division as the Chiefs and now the Chargers coming up too. So
for sure.
Let's see. Jaguars are next on the coaching carousel. Urban Meyer out. Right now, rumors are they might be talking to Byron Leftwich, actually potentially as the head coach. That's the offensive coordinator for the Bucks. Also, they're talking to Adrian Wilson as potentially the GM. So Adrian Wilson, a former safety for the Arizona Cardinals. He actually is the Cardinals president of scouting right now, but he's kind of on the rise. And I think it'd be dope to see 2 young brothers kind of get a chance to run an organization.
That would be dope.
That would be kind of fire. And the Jags, as bad as they've played, they actually have pieces and they have draft picks. So,
and Byron Leftwich, I think would be really, really good for a young quarterback there. You know what I mean? So I think it'd be great.
Yeah. Anthony Weston says he loves Leftwich there. Unk says we're good enough to be coordinators, but apparently not head coaches. That seems to be the trend lately, but we'll find out. Hopefully more people get that opportunity. Moving on to the Bears, one of the teams on our carousel that have stopped riding the carousel for now. They fired Vic Fangio and Matt Eberflus is in. He is the defensive coordinator for the Colts. He was actually on the Cowboys coaching staff too in the past, and this dude is kind of a known in the NFL as like a good defensive mind. It's interesting that they just fired a defensive type coach. So whatever Matt Eberflus does, I hope that he gets like a good offensive coordinator to work with Justin Fields. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
what did you think about this this hire though? Anything?
I was kind of the same way. I thought it was a little weird. He's also the running backs coach too, right? I think it was a running backs coach there too. So we'll see. Maybe he can do something with Montgomery. But yeah, got to get a good offensive coordinator to work with Fields. I don't know how that's gonna really work.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
We'll see. A team that shouldn't be on the coaching carousel, but is the Miami Dolphins. They fired Brian Flores, and right now they're talking to potentially Brian Dable, who is the Bills' offensive coordinator, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's some other people, but I'm really just kind of reporting on who is their highest target or their most rumored target so far. But the Dolphins, I just don't know what they're expecting, other than hoping that whoever comes in is going to work with Tua. I feel like the Flores situation ended because he wanted an upgrade there. And the thing is, I think Flores is right. Like they probably are a playoff team. They probably won even more games than they did this year with a more established quarterback. So
definitely, I completely agree. Tua still hasn't shown like they were winning games, but like their defense was so lights out. You know what I mean? And like Tua just like I still haven't seen it from Tua to be like, oh yeah, this is the guy of their future. And I think Flores thought the same thing. And I think they chose the wrong side.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you on that one. And so now we have the Broncos. They're the ones that fired Vic Fangio. Sorry, on the Bears, I put the wrong name up there for the Bears. Now
I didn't even notice. You're right.
But he was the one that they were saying to fire at the basketball. Nagy, my bad. He was the one that they were saying to fire at the basketball game and everything else. Yeah, it was Nagy. Hold on, let's see if I can fix this real quick. You guys know I'm OCD that I see that. Okay, let's see. The other day too, it let me fix it live on Slack. We had to do that, but okay, Matt Nagy. Let's get it right. Okay. Another team that's made their coaching hire though, Nathaniel Hackett in for the Broncos. This is the Green Bay offensive coordinator, and he hasn't had a lot of buzz around him in the past. But I'm curious if this is kind of like a low-key, sneaky move to try to convince Aaron Rodgers to go there too.
Yeah.
But what did you think about the hire though?
That's kind of how I felt it too. I mean, there's been rumors as far as the Broncos being one of Rodgers' landing spots. I don't think he's going there, but I don't know. I can't imagine him leaving somewhere like Green Bay to go to Denver. But Devontae Adams also said, there's a good chance that he can land wherever Rodgers lands. Who knows?
Yeah, it would be interesting if they follow each other. Also, Aaron Rodgers going to the Broncos. Hey, that would be. I mean, imagine the quarterbacks in that division. Then you'd have Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Herbert, and then Carr, who take it or leave it. But still, that'd be kind of a beastly quarterback setup. So we'll see what happens with the Broncos. I don't necessarily like the hire, but we'll see if how that pans out. Next up, we have the Texans. They fired David Culley. They're talking about potentially Josh McCown being the head coach for the Texans. That's kind of the only target. Another team where I feel like it's an interesting situation. They still have to figure out what they're going to do with Watson. The team is kind of in a mess. And honestly, I feel like David Culley did a good job for them last year. So I don't really like the move, but we'll see if they can get somebody to kind of reinvigorate what's going on there.
For sure. I always get confused sometimes with like 1 year firings when your team is literally like
in shambles,
good at like every position. You know what I mean? It's like so like considering the fact that they weren't even the worst team in the league with the worst record in the league, it's like he did pretty good. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that firing either.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, next up we have the Vikings. Mike Zimmer out. Even though he did a great job kind of bringing them as like a yearly not contender, but some force to be reckoned with, at least playoff contender every year.
Yep.
They're talking about potentially Kevin O'Connell, who's the Rams offensive coordinator, potentially as one of their targets. But this is another situation where it's like it's a tough place to go Tough division to play in when you have to play the Packers. But we'll see. I don't really have much on the Vikings. So I'm not really.
Yeah, me neither. I think this is more of a like. It's been a good ride. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there's any like bad blood there. I think it's like it's been a long good ride.
Yeah. Anthony Weston says the Vikings has Eric Bieniemy all over it. Maybe they have some good running backs. That would be interesting. I just still don't know if he's going to get his shot this year. So we'll see. Speeding up here, last two more. The carousel is big this year. We have Sean Payton, the Saints, a team that didn't expect themselves to be in this situation. They were kind of late to the game, but Sean Payton stepping away, probably going to TV for a little bit. The Saints are talking to potentially, they want to talk to Brian Flores and also Aaron Glenn, who's the Lions defensive coordinator as well. There's two potential candidates that have been coming up for the Saints. I think the Saints is a good organization to go to. Yeah. And I think that the front, like the ownership has proven that they're going to try to do what they can to support. So this will be an interesting one. Brian Flores there would be kind of cool. But what do you think about the Saints, John?
Yeah, I think it's actually a really good job to kind of have. You know, you fix your quarterback position, man. You're pretty much right back in the playoff discussion, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But seeing as how what the Dolphins did to my Panthers, I don't want to see Brian Flores there. You know what I'm saying? Like if he ain't a Panther, I don't want to see him nowhere near any of those teams. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like he has to get a job. He's obviously, in my opinion, probably the biggest coach out there if Sean Payton decides to go into broadcasting. But yeah, man. Sweet job for him if he gets it, but I don't want to see him there.
Right. No, I feel that. Stephanie Washington tuning in. Hey, y'all. What's up, Stephanie? What's up? Hope you're doing well. Went to see the Jabberwockies. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Strizzy's got some dance videos on his TikTok that are not quite Jabberwocky worthy, but they're up there close. So we're working on it. You know what I'm saying? We get him a mask, he'll sneak right in there. But the last team on the coaching carousel here, we got the New York Giants. They did fire Joe Judge. And right now, I don't really know much about their situation at all. But not that I really care. I kind of liked Joe Judge, low key. I like the way he spoke, at least in press conferences, and the way he handled himself. But the experiment didn't really work out there after 2 years. So I'm just hoping that they maybe hire another dud and they keep going in this like coaching carousel rut. So that way they're not as stable for the Cowboys. So that's what's up. Anthony Weston, though, dropping some knowledge on the Saints. Negative $74 million in cap space and no quarterback. Saints are going to have to gut that team. Maybe, and that's great insight there from the Slackers. That's probably why Sean Payton was like, this is a good chance to go take it. I'm out. And then let me step back into somebody else next year. So that's what's up, though. That's the coaching carousel. We just wanted to touch on that. We'll kind of maybe bring this slide up and not go through all the teams like we just did, but just at least talk about the new hires as they happen. So that's what it is there. Strizzy, anything else, though, you want to talk about before we kind of wrap up for this weekend or for this week's show?
No, man, just make sure you guys – I know there's only two games left, but still get those picks in. We got just these last 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. And then after these games are, we'll start, handing out squares and all that fun stuff to get the stuff figured out. So secure the bag, not go anywhere. Once football ends, we'll definitely tune into some basketball. I mean, AW have hit a couple of some nuggets a little bit the last couple of weeks. So we'll move into basketball once football's over.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to move up into basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot to learn. And we'll kind of be changing up the format. I like the slides, but football's very strict with their schedules. NBA is kind of all over the place. So we'll figure out a way to kind of bring you maybe the best games of the week or something like that. And then, thank you for bringing up the pick'em, though, too. Anthony Weston says, I got to win one of these weeks. Well, Anthony, this might be your best shot. Just get that tiebreaker. You already got the final scores nailed down. So get those picks in. And then also, we will, make sure that everybody knows, everybody that earns squares this year, you guys are going to automatically get a square on our grid. And then all the other squares are going to be up for sale too. So you can always hit either of us up on that or hit up the DM of the Instagram page to find out how you can get in on the squares. And then next week we might talk about, maybe we'll talk the list of squares and stuff. There's no game next week other than the Pro Bowl. So we'll talk about the squares. We'll talk about that process, and then we'll bring some NBA locks too. So that's what's up. Secure the bag will continue. I know we're sad because there's only 3 more NFL games left of the year, how fast it goes. But we appreciate you guys being with us all year. We appreciate you guys messing with us as we learn how to get these locks down right, and we made all our money line picks. So that was secure the bag. We'll see you guys next time on Tuesday for episode 127 of Slack. But for now, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizz.
Peace.